I'm the youngest of three boys. I was born in Japan. My parents are both from Iran, but they lived in Japan for about 20 years before that. We were basically one of the only Iranian families in Japan at that time. And after about 7 years of me being in Japan, we moved to Canada. And I spent about 15 years in Canada after that. One of my dreams as a child, I didn't know what I wanted to be, but I knew that I wanted to move to Jamaica. That's the only dream I know. And I still have that dream today. So basically, I moved to Japan. So I moved to Canada when I was about 7 years old. My whole family moved there, but my dad would go back and forth from Japan to Canada because he still had a business in Japan. And everything was good, you know. I grew up with my brothers. We were in a different country. I was going to a good school. Life was good. I was very, very happy. And then one day, I find out that my dad's business, it goes bankrupt. And we were forced to move out of our home. And the bank takes our house because we couldn't pay any more mortgage and rent for the home. So soon afterwards, my parents got divorced, and my oldest brother went to university, and my mom had to work to make money to live in a new home. And that's when, you know, I started hanging out with bad kids because I didn't really have the watch of my family anymore. I was on myself, and I started hanging out with some kids who weren't the best influence in my life. And then I got introduced to drugs. And that's when my life went down. So basically, I was doing drugs for about 6 years of my life, and I was getting worse and worse and worse. I was losing friends, I was losing my mind, I was losing the love of my family, you know. I almost lost everything. And that is when one day I was shooting cocaine with a needle into my veins, and I almost died. And when I wake up the next day, I didn't care that I almost died. I just wanted to get more high. And I went and took some money from my mom. And that's when I woke up the next day, and I had to go get some more cocaine because my body needed it. And as I'm going outside the door, my mom is in front saying, "Please don't go, please don't go." And I remember I picked her up and I threw her against the wall and said, "Get out of my way, I need to get drugs." And as I'm walking away from my house, all I heard was my mom cry very, very softly. And for some reason, when I heard that small cry, I woke up like that. And I started thinking about my life and what was going on. And I realized I had nothing. I lost everything. And I pushed my own old mother. And that's when I decided I needed help. And I went to rehab 2 weeks later. You know, for many years, since I moved to Canada, I used to always cut hair for my friends and my family because I really enjoyed it. And I always liked the idea of cutting hair. It was fun to me, you know. But I never took it seriously because I was always ashamed, thinking that it wasn't a good career, you know. I wanted to do something that was going to be good and respected in society. So I was I was ashamed about the career. Even though my friends would always tell me, Nas, do this, become a hairdresser, become a barber, I would always say, no, that's stupid. And then around the time I was studying to become a teacher in university for 4 years. And you know, in my 4th year, I had to stop so I could go to rehab. I had to leave school because my drug addiction got so bad. And it was actually just around that time when my family said, Nas, we love you so much. We see you like cutting hair. Why don't you do this as a profession and career? And for some reason, I for one time in my life, thought to myself, yeah, maybe this is something that I should do and I want to do. So in rehab, I decided this is my true calling. This is my new dream. And once I got out of rehab, my new drug became cutting hair. So for 2 years, every day after rehab, what I would do was I would go around the streets of Melbourne and try to go to different barbershops and learn how to cut hair, you know. 2 years, bro. I've been in Melbourne for 3 years and I've only started 1 year, you know. So for 2 years, every day, I would go and try to get into a barbershop and learn. But because I had no skills, because I had no training, no barbershop would say come. But you know, that didn't stop me. I didn't care. So I would tell barbers in barbershops, I'll clean your toilets, I'll sweep your hair, I'll answer phone, I'll do anything, just let me watch you, please. And then one day, one barber said, okay, we'll train you. So she would teach me after work. She would tell me, bring a friend, let's practice. And that was just a year and a half ago. And for 6 months, we practiced. And then finally, one day she goes, all right, come work for me at the shop. And that was the best day of my life. And I remember my first client was this old man. He just wanted a head shave and a beard form. So, and I was so nervous, man. I'll never forget that day. And actually, he gave me a $10 tip the very first time. That made me feel really good. And so for several months, you know, I loved cutting in the barbershop, but I really wanted to get better. And I put so much work and effort into wanting to be a barber that I forgot about helping other people because I was so focused on helping myself. And so I decided I want to do more with my barbering and help out people. So I looked into going to prison and cutting hair for people in prison, but they said I couldn't bring sharp scissors into the prison. Then I looked into going to homeless shelters, but there was too much politics and too much paperwork to go into a homeless shelter. So I decided to make friends with the homeless people near the subway station by my work. And I told them one day, can I cut your hair? And they said, okay. It took about 4 months for me to get all my tools and everything prepared. But for 4 months, I kept talking to them saying, all right, I'm going to come cut your hair next week. I'm going to come cut your hair next week. And then the day I told them I was going to come, no one was there. And the day I go there, no one was there. So I'm looking for them. And no one shows up. So I just sit there and I say a prayer. And I say, please God, I want to help someone. And soon afterwards, this man approached me and says, are you okay? And you know, I told him, yes, I'm looking for the homeless people here. I told him I'd give him a haircut, but they're not here. And he looks at me and says, I would actually love a haircut, please. And he was a drug addict as well who was, you know, suffering and on the streets a little bit too. He said, what can I help you? Okay, so when he asked me if I'm okay, I told him, yes, I'm looking for the homeless people that usually hang around here. And he says, why? And I told him, because I want to cut their hair. I told him I was going to give them a free haircut. And when I said that, his eyes opened up and he goes, I actually need a haircut. Can you do me, please? And he was a heroin addict, actually, who was going to rehab the next day. And he said he didn't shave his face. He was a heroin addict, actually, who was going to rehab the next day, and he didn't shave his face or have a haircut because he was so sad, he said. And he didn't like the way he looked, and he didn't love himself. So because he was so sad, he didn't shave or do anything. And I had the honor to give him the haircut before he goes and got help from the rehab center. After that, I realized this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go around on the streets, and I'm going to find people who need haircuts, whether they're homeless or refugee, anybody who needs the attention and the love that a barber can give. I think this is because of the philosophies of my religion, the Baha'i faith, which, really encourages us to love everyone and to show kindness to everybody.
Когда приехал Насир, мы с ним поработали, он очень ответственно подходит к работе, никогда не торопится, всегда слушает клиентов. Мне было с ним приятно работать, потому что я тоже люблю эту культуру. Давно стригу.
С Насиром мы впервые познакомились пару дней назад, когда приехал к нам в Чоп-Чоп на Петроградской. Работал вместе с нашими мастерами. Первое впечатление было очень позитивное, поскольку очень дружный человек, где я английского не знаю, нам переводили все.
С Насиром я сегодня познакомился первый раз, его впечатление, конечно, довольно-таки необычный, потому что от человека прям идет какая-то энергетика такая добра, помочь он хочет. И заряжает этим. То есть хочется по его стопам как-то попробовать идти.
Он очень эмоциональный человек, и мне это понравилось. В нем есть какая-то искринка, которая, видимо, когда-то зажглась, и я думаю, что она не скоро погаснет.
Подарил нам свои, инструменты некоторые, которые нам пригодились бы в работе. Было очень приятно их получить, неожиданно. Сегодня мы встретились тут, где стрижем бездомных. И опять же, все очень мило, добро. В общем, хороший человек. Я рад, что с ним познакомился.
Yes, this is the first time in Russia. I've never been here before, and I'm so happy that I came here because it's become one of my favorite countries. Kind of experience, I've experienced the nicest people that I've come across, and I've traveled a lot. The Russian people have shown me so much love and kindness that it makes me want to show the same Russian hospitality to wherever I go around the world. What does happiness mean to me? Yeah, okay, perfect. So it's funny you say that. The best feeling I can have in the world is when I help someone out and make someone happy. Me, am I happy? I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life, man.